Alright, so I'm about to creep under because I'm too lazy to walk around. Let's look at how clean the SN is underneath.
No, don't do that. It's not that clean.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. Welcome to my channel. I'm that 1320 chick, and today we are finally getting back to actually working on the SN project. I really wanted to go over some of the most frequently asked questions that myself and Brian receive on YouTube and on Instagram. Mostly cost. So I'm going to try to break that down as much as I can in this video. So if you ever have questions, please just leave a comment below. A big question that we keep getting is how much bolts in? It's a pretty self-explanatory question, but we seem to keep getting it. Nothing. Unfortunately, nothing. Because we're doing the interior as well as the actual engine and transmission. The engine does seem to go in. We did have to get a specific Coyote swap K-member, so that made it easier. As far as the interior, nothing bolts in, nothing swaps. It isn't a complete kit. So to make Brian and I's lives easier, we bought a whole wrecked donor car. With the donor car, we haven't really ever talked about what we paid for it. It was a 2018 that had a Whipple on it, and it was a base car. So I think those would have stickered for like 36, you think?
Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere around 36,000. So we ended up picking it up wrecked. The engine and the transmission were totally fine. It actually also had a clean title. The only reason why the owner didn't keep it was because of some financial issues on his end. He decided that getting it fixed, because at the time the 18 front clips were so brand new, I mean the car was probably only 6 months old, it was going to cost us way more than we figured it was worth it to try to sell. So we decided to strip it, gut it, and take everything we needed off of it. So we got lucky. It had a 3.0 Whipple on it. That is now the Whipple that has been on my car. We were able to keep the engine from it with everything totally fine. It just needed a valve cover replaced because it was smashed. And then we decided we didn't want to have an MT82. We decided to get a Magnum. So we were able to sell more off of that car than I would have totally ever guessed. We also were able to sell the shell completely gutted for about $3 grand. We all together paid $17,000 for it, and it had just over 10,000 miles on it. It had complete seated suspension, as well as it had those, I'll show you a photo, it had these P51 wheels on it. So we lucked out insanely, because I think a Coyote engine with about 10,000 miles on it, being a 3rd gen, would range anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000. We see them all over for a price range between there, so I can't exactly give you a dialed in number on that. What did we sell the MT82 for?
I think I got
1,800?
1,800 bucks for everything from the flywheel to the back of the transmission.
The Magnum cost us $3,200. We waited a really long time and saved up for that because Brian's pretty rough on his stuff, and I wanted to make sure that if we did this, we did it right and we did it with what he wanted. So ballpark, we don't exactly remember because we picked it up on our way back from either Oklahoma or Texas one time from the speed shop. The bell housing was around $600. They normally range from $750 to $800, so we saved a little bit of money there. The reason that Brian and I decided to do a full donor car is because of the interior. Then we don't have to deal with trying to find pieces here and there. We just took everything at once and was completely done with it. Another huge question we get is all the time is what computer are we going to be using? Brian and I decided that we want to keep it the Ford factory computer. So that was another huge reason why we got a complete donor car. We don't think that it needs a Holly at this point, especially since this is going to be almost an identical build of what my car is, and we're making a little over 950, running 880s with 0 issues with the computer. I honestly don't even really know anyone that has put an aftermarket computer on an 18 plus car. And before you guys compare me to David Van Voris, I know everything that's going on with his car because him and Brian and I talk all the time. So that seems to be a direct comparison that I get all the time. He might be going Holley or some sort of standalone ECU now, but he made it into the 7s on a stock computer. So we aren't going fancy. We are just gonna keep with what we had because we know that all the wires and everything will plug in and pretty much be plug and play as much as we can. The goal for the car is to make the whole interior and everything work. It would be a dream to be able to swap in a digital dash at some point, the premium touchscreen, because our car was a base that we got. Brian wants the key fobs to work. He wants all the proximity to be able to work and be able to like pop the trunk and things like that. So we're gonna get to all that eventually, but the goal is to at least make it run and function and turn on and be a drivable car by like April or May. But that's a fingers crossed. All right, we about to go to my parents, so we figured we'll have a little fun and take the G8. So Bri took over. He's gonna get all the snow off their car, but I'm telling you, we've been fighting. This is my first winter ever having a rear-wheel drive car, and it is fantastic. We've been having a ton of fun. Technically, my truck is two-wheel drive until I turned four-wheel drive on, so I've had fun since I've had my F-150, but this is just even more fun than that. So, God, why am I always blurry in this camera? So, we've been having a blast with this car. I know everyone kind of told us that it was an impractical daily, at least for the winter here in Michigan, but I think we're both seasoned enough drivers that we know not to be dumb. We've been driving in the snow, probably, how old am I? This will be 13 years, so, oh my God, that's weird to say. I've been driving almost as long as I haven't, so if we go out to a parking lot and snowdrift, I'll definitely show you guys. We're rolling.
Okay.
Okay.
So just to show you what I did yesterday.
Okay.
This had a second layer of like just flange basically. Because this piece, which is the trim piece for like the defrost vent, had a second layer of clips on it. And because of the way that this comes in, I want to sit this right on top of this edge.
Okay.
So once it's pretty finalized, I'll trim this out to go around like the VIN plate thing. So I basically just needed today to get more clearance to get it to sit in all the way and sit square. So.
And just so if you're looking at this, Brian took the passenger airbag out. He just did it because we were trying to see if we're going to do it on my car. Do you plan on putting it back in?
Nope.
Oh, lightweight.
Lightweight.
Death trap.
Death trap. That's end things.
So basically what Brian did here is he took off and cut this side, and what he's doing now is he is measuring where to cut this to shorten it, and then we're going to go to my dad's shop because he has a welder, and we're going to weld this back on. So it actually worked out a lot better than we were expecting, shortening this. So I, for some reason, keep calling it the boning. What is like the actual wording of it? Like, what do you call this? It's not the shell, the frame.
The dash frame.
Yes, the frame. So I'm gonna start using the. Well, I'm thinking of, I don't know why, like a corset, like it's the boning part of it.
The boner of the dash.
Not boner. That's not what I said. So we're gonna have one of the guys at my dad's shop weld it back together for us, and then we're gonna measure tonight where exactly it needs to fit. And then at this point, I think we are pretty good on dash components. Not done, but like. We'll be pretty settled with cutting and anything like that.
So once we get done with this, we'll cut it.
Okay.
Make sure it sits in.
Yeah.
Then what we'll do is we'll put the pad back on here.
Okay.
Then fit it back up in it and figure out if these are anything
As far as length,
need to get
chopped.
chopped. I'm gonna assume they do.
So
I'm sure the body doesn't fit the same. But then there's 2 other brackets in the car that's on the trans tunnel. Those gotta get cut off too because the S550's got this nice bracket also.
So basically, if you are considering doing a swap like this, we've been fairly lucky. Again, like I said earlier, this has been like a huge question if any of this is what bolts in. From what you can see, none of it. We've had to trim a ton of it. So basically what I'm telling everybody is everything from the firewall into the car is 100% custom. Nothing from the S550 comes over, but it's been very shocking what is very close. So we've been pretty lucky with what we've found.
Similar dimension, but not a single bit of it bolts in.
Yeah, none of it bolts in. So
bolt up.
we're gonna have to have some friends teach us how to weld because we want it to mildly look pretty, but.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What are we gonna do next?
We gotta see where it gets to towards the back. It's gotta come over to me some.
Okay.
Alright, I know where I'm at. Could be. I mean, all things considered, that's great.
Bruh.
I mean, that's like honestly fantastic. It's a little crook still, I think.
In which way?
Like level this way.
Okay.
So I think the next thing that I need to do, now that we've established this, is make sure it's level each side and try to just shim it to get it like whatever. So I figure if we measure from the floorboard up, it should give us a pretty fair
Idea.
of level.
This side does look a little bit taller.
Yeah, this side's lower for sure.
How do you fix that?
It's gonna we're just gonna have to kind of temporarily do something now to get it close.
Okay.
Yeah, 29. So we're about half off. So we can either come up a quarter on this side, and that should drop that side a little bit. I wish I had another jack just to push up on it, but it should just literally need to go like that. This is basically the difference of, essentially the difference of level. Let's put the console on.
For funsies. Realistically, what do you think the next move is?
Just getting the dash frame to bolt in. I think.
And then what? Like,
And then then I'll start fitting, then I'll figure out the heater box, all that stuff. I mean, look how much space there is under there. So there should be more than enough room to shove that heater core back there too.
and then I'd like to mildly start trying to figure out the door panels because that contact's gonna leave soon.
I know.
So we gotta try to maybe get
I
these.
mean, the coolest thing is the fact that, like, I wonder if I have one. I do have one of these side panels sometimes. Air vent comes through. It's right here.
So spot on. What do you have to strip, the door panel or the actual like plastic panel?
Bolt. Well, I need to strip the door. They need to pull the electronics out of it
Okay.
because they need to do it. What I kind of would wish that I could do, which I don't know how feasible it is to get a second SN door, literally cut the outside of it out so I can see everything inside.
You know what I'm thinking?
What?
We have a reason to go to that junkyard now.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
We could go buy those Steely doors.
Yes. So, Brian and I were actually driving by. There's a junkyard by our house. It's actually more like a parts farm. It's very, very, very nice.
I would call it a U-pull lot.
Like it's a U-pull, but they just redid it and it's super, super nice. And we were driving by the other day and there's a teal SN right up front. So I think we're gonna run there tomorrow and actually, now we have a reason. Like I was like, oh, let's go see what we can pick from it. And Brian's like, we don't need anything. Now I think we're gonna go get experimental doors.
The other thing nice too is we may be able to pull some of these window moldings.
Oh, if the moldings were nice, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. Because those are, it's not that they're hard to find. It's just hard to tell which ones you want. Because I went on like late model and what else did I look at? Inline tube. I like looked at a bunch of places to try to buy you new ones. And it's like.
Was that the surprise you were going to buy me that you didn't? Because you didn't know what to get?
No, I still have a surprise plan for you when we're not poor. So we're really happy with the progress that has been happening in the last couple days. We're just going to try to figure out from here on out what to do to put the actual dash frame, attaching it to the car. What do you think is next after that?
After that...
I mean, there's obviously a whole list, but we're going to try to knock small things out at a time so it doesn't seem like it's overwhelming list. But as far as where we're at now, I think...
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I mean, we're going to have to figure out how the steering column fits in.
Okay.
That may be next after we attach that in, because the steering column can just bolt right back into the stock spot.
Okay.
And then we can see how it'll match up to where like the SF body hole is. We can figure out after that the pedal assembly. We'll need to figure out the pedal assembly. Mm-hmm. All that fun jazz. I mean, there's plenty of more stuff coming.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to try to keep this on a tight schedule with the SN so there's no confusion on the channel. So SN stuff is going to be Tuesday nights and it's going to be called Coyote Swap Things. So it's going to be our way of keeping the album of these videos in a general spot so you can find them. So we really appreciate you guys and all your questions that we've got on these. If you have any more before the next video comes out, please leave a comment or message me on Instagram and we can probably try to cover it in the next video. But for right now, we're really excited and we're glad that you guys are too. So guys, leave a comment. Let us know what you guys would like to see. I hope the sound sounds a little bit better. That's been a big complaint, so we've been working on that. But we hope to see you guys next week. But a lot of the common ones that we get is cost and is, what kind of animal is that?
That, a crow.
Oh.
What kind of dog is that?